Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. When I'm lost and confused, heaven lead the way. When I'm reaching for you, will you meet me halfway? Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. When I'm lost and confused, heaven lead the way. When I'm reaching for you, will you meet me halfway? Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. When I'm lost and confused, heaven lead the way. When I'm reaching for you, will you meet me halfway? Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. When I'm lost and confused, heaven show the way. When I'm reaching for you, will you meet me halfway?
Last time.
Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way. Heaven guide me, heaven show me the way.
Good morning. My name is Ginger Hanna, and it is my absolute joy to be with you today, be your platform assistant, and especially because today we have a great visitor, Charley Thweatt. Welcome back, Charley. Yay! So, we have a wonderful mission here in Unity Church in Albany. Let's say it together. The mission of Unity Church in Albany is to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. And we also have a great vision statement as well. Let's say that together too. We celebrate oneness with spirit and with the divine nature of all. So let's just settle in for our opening prayer. And what I'd like to do is to read from the Wisdom of the Enneagram. And so I'd like you to just take a few deep breaths just to kind of bring ourselves present. Our topic this month is being present. So if you can just close your eyes, just gently close your eyes. And just take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through your mouth. And let's do another one of those. And as we breathe in, let's breathe in all this love that surrounds us. And breathe out the love that is us. And just keeping your eyes gently closed, just listen to these words. If we were to really observe ourselves, we would become aware of our tensions and habits. If we were to become aware of our tensions and habits, we would let go and relax. If we were to let go and relax, we would be aware of sensations. If we were to be aware of sensations, we would receive impressions. If we were to receive impressions, we would awaken to the moment. If we were to awaken to the moment, we would experience reality. If we were to experience reality, we would see that we are not our personality. If we were to see that we are not our personality, we would remember ourselves. If we were to remember ourselves, we would let go of our fear and attachments. If we were to let go of our fear and attachments, we would be touched by God. If we were touched by God, we would seek union with God. If we were to seek union with God, we would will what God wills. If we were to will what God wills, we would be transformed. If we were transformed, the world would be transformed. If the world were transformed, all would return to God. And so it is. So we have some announcements here today. If there are prayer chaplains with us, if you could stand up and let us see who you are. Okay, let's see. Phyllis, oh my goodness, Phyllis, and I'm a prayer chaplain as well, so Phyllis and I will be in the back to pray with you if you would like after the service. And remember that our One Song 6 p.m. service has been on summer hiatus. However, this evening it is going to host Charley Thweatt, and we're so excited about that. So, Charley's back. Charley, do you want to say anything about your One Song service and or about your workshop tomorrow night?
So one of my favorite things is, and sometimes I'll do this in the middle of a concert, is to invite people to just close their eyes, and we will do several songs in a row, just eyes closed, go into a meditative place, and just I invite you to join up. Very simple to join in songs, no lyrics to read, and we just go deeper and deeper. And between each song, just have a half a minute of silence. And so this evening, that's what I'm planning to do for most of the, it's called One Song, most of the evening music service at 6 right in this room. And it's just beautiful. I get so many comments after this that it's one of the deepest things people have experienced. So if you want to come be a part of that, it's just so sweet. You just go inner and feel it. It takes you to a different place. And I know also some people think, well, I'm not really a singer. It doesn't matter. It's I invite you to sing, even though your second grade teacher invited you not to sing. And I've had people discover deep places in their voice they never knew was there. So I think I've spoken enough, but I really invite you for a really precious experience this evening at 6. Thank you.
Thank you. And then you have a workshop tomorrow at 7, right?
Yes, music and workshop, 7 to 9.
Yes, tomorrow, Monday. So, and if you haven't heard Charley, or if you've heard him before, you know just how absolutely beautiful his music is, very deeply spiritual. So we're so excited to have you here, Charley. Thank you. We're still seeking volunteer angels for the Tour of Love Healing Bowls. And if you've never done healing bowls, they're just amazing. So they're hopefully going to be with us in the sanctuary on August 31st. And it's 55 Tibetan bowls will fill this sanctuary. So the angels will assist in bowl playing, applying essential oils, passing out chocolates. That's the part I want. Probably the eating the chocolates. That's the one I want. Right. And collecting money. So, and it's this event with Dr. Dream is dependent on having enough people do it. So if you are so inclined, we'd love to have you on August 31st. That's a Saturday. Okay. If you have a business or services that you would like to share with your fellow congregants, we're going to have a business fair, and that is going to be on September 8th. So we've had it in the past. It's been at the beginning of the year, like in January. And this year, here it is in September. If you're interested, please see Chris Johnson for more information. And we also have volunteer service that we're looking for. We have a volunteer opportunities fair on September 15th where you can find out all about the different opportunities to serve in the church. And we're looking for people to help with audio video. You can see Terry Bailey for that. Garden and summer upkeep is Sam House. Hospitality is Gretchen. Social activities, Fred Elfenbein, and youth and family ministry is Trudy as she's walking in the door here. So, news from the last board, the last town hall. Bulletins are now just lying on the tables in the back and in the Bradford Street lobby. So if when you walk in, if you want to pick up a bulletin, if you're interested, that's you can take home. We also have all of the order of service on our laminated cards, which are in the back of the pews, and this goes along with our desire to be green. And so speaking of green, here's our green calendar of events for August. And so you can pick this up once a month and take it home, and it has all the classes, workshops, events, everything on here. You can put it on your refrigerator or wherever it's going to be where you can see it, right? Okay, so now for the daily word. So if you just want to close your eyes gently again and listen to the daily word. The day's word for August 18th is world peace. I am doing my part for world peace. Let's say that together. I am doing my part for world peace. Over and over, we are told that world peace begins with peace in our hearts. That's very good news. It means I can contribute to world peace every day. I don't have to be a diplomat or high-ranking government official to play a role in moving the planet toward peace. I only have to remember to choose peace in every situation. Peace is far more than refraining from physical violence. Peace is kinder thoughts and deeds. Peace is giving the benefit of the doubt. Peace is honesty and trust. Peace is even simple courtesy. Each time I see the face of God in another human being and treat that person accordingly, I contribute to world peace. And the scripture reading from Colossians is, "And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you were called in one body, and be thankful." And so with that, we're thankful for our musical team this morning. Oh, Charley, there we go. Well, there's our musical team.
Test. Testing. Test. On the air. We are back on the air. Okay. Well, I want to have a little fun with you with this hymn. And since I was here last, I've been putting a lot of things out into the world, and one of them is some children's music. So are you ready to be like little children for a moment or two? We'll have a little fun with that. So this song is called Riding on the Train. So you're going to sing with me. Riding on the train. Can I hear that? Riding on the train. Then you put your hand up and you go, woo, woo, all aboard. All aboard. And the next time, riding on the train, woo, woo, tickets, please. So riding on the train, woo, woo, tickets, please. I've done this with lots of kids. I'm not sure I've done it with a room full like you guys, but and then on the verses, we're going to imagine we're looking out the train window and seeing some kind of animal out in the field. So I'm going to pick the animal, and your job is to listen very carefully, because as soon as you hear whatever animal it is, you're going to make the sound of that animal, okay? So if I say, and see those chickens in the field, you're going to suddenly go, okay, loudly, okay. So just be on paying attention, and then we'll do maybe 3 animals. Then at the end, instead of woo woo tickets please, it's going to be riding on the train, click clack, click clack. Do that with me. Riding on the train, click clack, click clack. And we're going to imagine the train disappearing off into the distance, so it'll get softer and softer and softer. Okay, it's a lot of instructions, boys and girls, but I think we can get it. So get your woo-woos ready. Here we go. Riding on the train, woo-woo! All aboard! Riding on the train, woo-woo! Tickets, please! Riding on the train, woo-woo! All aboard! Riding on the train, woo-woo! Tickets, please! As we go riding through the countryside and see those cows out in the fields. I'm not hearing the mooing. I want you sitting right here by my side, and we can squeal, everybody squeal. Woo! Riding on the train, woo woo! All aboard! Riding on the train, woo woo! Tickets please! Riding on the train, woo woo! All aboard! Riding on the train, woo woo! Tickets please! Now listen for the animal. As we go riding through the countryside and see those sheep out in the fields, I want you sitting right here by my side, and we can squeal, everybody squeal, woo! Riding on the train, woo woo! All aboard! Riding on the train, woo woo! Tickets please! Riding on the train, woo woo! All aboard! Riding on the train, woo woo! Tickets please! One more animal. As we go riding through the countryside and see those dinosaurs in the fields, I want you sitting right here by my side, and we can squeal, everybody squeal, woo! Click clack, riding on the train, click clack, click clack, riding on the train. 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 Click clack, click clack. There we go. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Unity Church in Albany, where we love to affirm that this is the place the
Lord has made.
Let
us be joyful and be glad in it.
This truly is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome. I'm Reverend Crystal Muldrow. So glad to have Charley Thweatt right back with us here.
Thank you.
And don't worry, I know that there's a certain musician that is missing. He's on vacation. He will be back next Sunday, no worries. So let us say hi to Roger and wish that he is having a great vacay. Yes. And so, also, Bob Cinecor, not sure why you blessed us with these flowers, but thank you. In honoring of his sister, Carolyn. So thank you so very much for the beauty of the flowers. And so do we have anyone here for the very first time? Please let yourself be shown so that we can give you a gift. Anyone here for the very first time, please raise your hand. You don't even have to stand up, just raise your hand. All right. Well, with that, we all know that we come here anew every single moment of every single day. And so this is our time to welcome each other. So where you're at, you can give a handshake, a howdy do, or a hug, whatever you're comfortable with.
All right. Morning. Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Hey. Thank you. Fun. I'll take a hug. Thanks, Pete. Good morning. Ah, yes. Did you get your crossword yet? Good morning. Hi. Thank you. Good morning.
You back.
Thank you.
Good. How are you doing?
Good morning. Hi. Good. Hey, see you again. You were on the Italy trip, right?
Sorry?
You went on the Italy trip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew. For some reason, in my mind, your name was Charles, but it's Bob.
No,
Yeah.
So
I'm the
instead
Charles.
of the
Good to
bell
see you
today,
again.
we're using the drum for two reasons. First of all, we forgot to announce that after this Sunday and next Sunday, I got the vibe from ours truly, Pete Furlong. So if you'd like to join us in the drum workshop, please come join us. It doesn't matter if you've been with us before or not, just have fun. Doesn't matter if you don't think you have rhythm. All are welcome. And usually, if that's the case, we form to your rhythm. So all is good. We adjust, yes, and we cheat. And so with that, let us say our statement of oneness. The power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. That one is God, the good, omnipotent. And so it is. And so I invite you to just relax. If there's anything on your lap, including your hands, just release it, put your feet on the floor, and let us prepare for our meditation. Also know that along with our beautiful chaplains, and even though they might not be on duty today, they are dispersed around this room. We also offer prayer. In the back of your bulletin, you'll see where you can send your prayers. Also, in front of you, the pew holders. See, Ginger is in the front now, so she can't hold them up. So she's looking at Will, who's already into prayer, and Lois. We have samples and Phyllis back there. We have samples of our prayer request forms. If you would like, you can fill them out during the service. Bradford Street entrance, there is an answer box, a wooden box. You can place them there. You can call us. You can email us. Dennis Ryan will gather them up, send them out to the whole team of prayer chaplains, and we will be happy to pray with you. So with that, sit back. Know that Charley Thweatt, we are so honored to have him here. He hasn't been here since 2016. It has been way too long. And so without further ado, we're going to welcome Charley Thweatt up here to guide us in meditation and then do his wonderful talk.
Thank you. So we're going to use this song to go into a time of meditation. There'll be a place that you can add your voice. I'll invite you. And afterwards, we'll go into silence for half a minute or so. So we'll just let the music fade and just be in that peace. And after that, we'll lead a little guided meditation briefly. So let's close our eyes. And I invite you to take a deep breath. Sitting here in silence, talking to God each day. Sitting here in silence, talking to God, I pray. I can call for help anytime. Talking to God each day. I can send out help anytime. Talking to God, I pray. Join me, sing, I can call for help. I can call for help anytime. talking to God each day, each day. I can send out help. I can send out help anytime. Talking to God, I pray, I pray. Sitting here in beauty, sitting here in beauty, talking to God, talking to God each day, each day. Sitting here in beauty, talking to God, talking to God. I pray, I pray. I can call for help. I can call for help anytime. Talking to God each day, each day. I can send out help. I can send out help anytime. Talking to God, I pray, I pray. We'll do one more. Sitting here in peace. Sitting here in peace, talking to God, talking to God each day, each day. Sitting here in peace, talking to God, talking to God. I pray, I pray. I can call for help. I can call for help anytime. Talking to God each day, each day. I can send out help. I can send out help anytime. Talking to God, I pray, I pray. I can call for help. I can call for help anytime. Talking to God each day, each day. I can send out help. I can send out help anytime. Talking to God, I pray, I pray. I pray. I pray. I pray. I pray. I pray. As we sit in the silence, in that connection with God, we realize we are really in connection with ourselves. With that oneness that we share and that we are. One with the divine. We notice that at our core is that place of peace, that place of stillness. We are that peace. We are that stillness. And we bring it to every situation in our lives. If we get lost a little bit, we can always come back and claim, I am that peace. I am that stillness. And as we look out into our world through these eyes, we look from peace, from stillness. And we can bring that to any situation. I am peace. I am stillness. It doesn't really matter so much what we're looking at in our lives as where we're looking from. It doesn't matter so much what we're looking at as where we're looking from. And we look from that God self, that divine peace and stillness. I am peace. I am stillness. Let's say that together. Together. I am peace. I am stillness. This is who we are. Let us always remember. Let us always live as this peace and this stillness. And so it is, and so we are. Amen. Thank you. Tell me stories of the many glories that you've got yourself into, and what you're finding out on the horizon in the sky of blue. You can call me if you fall for the lies that people throw at you, 'cause you're much greater than any hater when you could come right home to what is true. So why don't you? Will you find it there? In so many places, wherever you go, will you find it there? In so much of searching, just what do you know? Sing this line with me. Tell me stories. Actually, will you echo it? I'll sing it, and then you echo right afterwards. Of the many glories, of the many glories, of the many glories. Tell me stories, tell me stories. glory, of the many glories. Life is streaming, all the while you're dreaming of some castles in the air. Does your insisting mean that you are missing all the love that's waiting there? You can call me if you fall for the lies that people throw at you, 'cause you're much greater than any hater when you could come right home to what is true. Why don't you sing this with me? Will you find it there? In so many faces, wherever you'll be, will you find it there? With all of your seeking, just what do you see? Will you find it there? In so many places, wherever you go, will you find it there? In all of this searching, just what do you know? Tell me stories, tell me stories of the many glories, of the many glories. Tell me stories, tell me stories of the many glories, of the many glories. Tell me stories of the many glories that you've got yourself into. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I will do a quick plug. This is my brand new CD called Tell Me Stories. So pick one up on your way out the door. Okay, well, it's nice to be back here. I remember last time I gave a talk, there was a giant wood chipper outside halfway through my talk. Do you remember that? It's like, what's going on? So, I think someone snuck out and explained to them that we were trying to have church, so that was nice. So the title of my talk today is the bows of our boats. So I'm going to look at kind of that image. Have you ever been on the front of a boat, where you're kind of leaning over and just watching how the water hits the bow? And to me, that's a great metaphor for just staying in the moment, just like where we're just cutting through the water, just that leading edge of life. Each moment, just kind of stay awake in that. However, as I like to do, I want to start with a joke. So I have a new joke for you. And this is one that a good friend of mine, Pat, told me years ago. He's a great friend. So this is about two elderly women in this small town. They're driving to lunch. So first of all, any show of hands, any elderly women in the audience? No, I'm kidding. So it's Mabel and what's her name? Mabel and Gertrude. We'll say Gertrude. Okay, so Mabel and Gertrude in the car, and they've been going for a few minutes down like a main avenue in town, and Gertrude's sitting there in the passenger seat, just kind of watching the world go by, and then she realizes, oh my God, did Mabel just run a red light? She said, well, maybe I just saw it wrong. Maybe that didn't happen. I'll just keep an eye out, she thinks, and sure enough, a minute later, Mabel runs a second red light, and Gertrude's thinking, well, I should probably say something. If she does it again, I'm going to have to bring it up. And sure enough, Mabel runs a third red light, and finally, Gertrude says, Mabel, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but you've just run 3 red lights in a row. And Mabel says, I'm driving? So the bow of our boat, staying awake in each moment, maybe Mabel wasn't quite there. I love what you read earlier. If this happens, that leads to this. That was almost my entire talk. I kept hearing these themes. It was so beautiful. Did you write that, or did? Wisdom of the Enneagram. Well, that was so beautiful. And there's so much in that really speaks to me and what we're going to look at today. So, staying awake in the moment. Now, this is a phrase we've always heard, be in the moment, be here and now. This is not a new concept. But I think why we come to church is to keep peeling away layers, like how can I live this more deeply? And we keep being reminded. So I want to look at this in some different ways and some stories that I can share that have led me to see this more deeply. There's a dear friend of mine that I've known for over 30 years. And her name is Tana. She always has said rhymes with Montana. So Tana, dear friend, who passed away recently. And so she and I and my former wife, her former husband, we raised 2 children together. My son Jeremy is 31, and he and Tana's daughter are kind of like brother sister. They've known each other since they're 6 months old. So Tana has been in my life for a long time. Very funny, very creative, but also there was a part to her that's always kind of, even in spite of her genius in so many ways, never really quite put things together in life. And being around Tana, there was always this feeling of like this weight she was carrying, maybe it was invisible, this feeling like it never quite clicked. And she came down with cancer a while ago, and then it went away, and then came back and went away. But the 3rd time, the doctor said, I'm sorry, there's no way out of this. This is it. And so I went to visit her. I didn't live that close anymore, but I remember I went and spent time about 2 months before she passed. And I went and sat with her, and I was blown away that she looked the best she had ever looked. And there was something that had changed and shifted, and like she had let go. Where she finally, I think some part of her felt like, I finally don't have to live up to something anymore. Like she dropped her baggage, and something was just free. And I was really blown away by that, and it kind of begs the question, I think, couldn't we all do that even if we're not on our deathbed? Is there some way that we're carrying this weight, this like we have to achieve, we have to live up to something, we have to convince our parents, whatever, that we're worthy? And I observed, oh my God, she seems so at peace with her upcoming, the end of this life on this planet. Now, a couple of months later, she did pass, and I remember, I got the word in the late afternoon that it had happened. And so she was obviously on my mind a lot as we went into the evening. And I remember as the day was over, I was lying in bed with my wife, just looking her in the eyes, lying sideways. And she could tell I had something on my mind. And as I was looking in my wife's eyes, I got this image of the bow of the boat. And this happens, I think, often for us. When someone close to us passes, we get that remembrance, right? Like, oh my God, I have to stay awake in this life. I don't keep falling into automatic. Stay awake in these moments. Because we can get on automatic so much as just forget to make this precious, can't we? And so with that feeling in my heart, looking at my wife's eyes, I just kind of got this image like, I just felt my moment moving through time. It's like this one wave, this singular wave that we're always surfing. As we're sitting here in this room, we're just, this moment is happening, kind of like this wave going by. We just keep staying with it. Like, how awake are we to every split second? Have you ever been to a retreat? How many people have gone to retreats before? A lot of us have. And I've noticed this phenomenon. I wasn't going to mention this, but it just came to my mind that sometimes you're at a retreat and it's a week-long retreat and it's day 2, and it already feels like you've been there a week. Have you ever had that experience? Like, it's like, we've only been here 2 days? Oh my God, it feels like so much has happened. I have a theory that when you're at a retreat, you're awake for a lot more of the moments. So, but if you're on automatic, like the day goes by and maybe you weren't even that awake for any of it, it's like how much did you actually experience because you're awake for it? It's like if life was these rows of pigeonholes, and if you're at a retreat or doing something that just keeps you awake, you're filling a lot of the pigeonholes with information and experiences. And if in that same amount of time you're just kind of wandering through and not really staying awake, you got a bunch of empty pigeonholes that you didn't really fill it with experience. Same amount of time, but it changes how we experience it. So here I am lying in bed, just feeling this kind of like this different perception of just to stay awake in this life. And then I started hearing these words in my head, this poetry. And Heidi, my wife, can always tell when my mind is doing something. She says, so what's going on? What's happening? I said, well, I'm hearing these words. We are the bows of our boats, the leading edge of our venture. There's so much down below that we may never see. And she says, well, you want to get up and write it down? I said, yeah, I think I need to. And I went and got a piece of paper and wrote down those 4 lines, and then 4 more lines, and 4 more lines, and 4 more lines. And it became this whole beautiful poem. And I'd like to read it to you, if I may. Now, I'm speaking of retreats. I've had this experience where I go to a retreat, or maybe it's talent show night or something, and someone says, I'd like to read a poem that I wrote, and you realize they have 12 pages of paper stapled together. So, and you're going, oh my God, when is this going to be over? So anyway, this is it. So it's not super long. So I want you to feel this. We are the bows of our boats, the leading edge of our venture. There's so much down below that you may never see. And with Tana, I think that there was this kind of weight down below, like in the ballast in the hold of a ship that maybe you don't see it at first, but it's there. And this next part speaks to it in a minute. We are at each moment in time, the way we face our future. The one you see in these eyes is not my history. Do you get that? It's about that present moment. This is who I am, not who I was. Just meet me here. And if you feel some weight, it's holding me together. A ballast, to be sure, for when I hit rough seas. But that's not who I am, or who I was ever. So catch me if you can, in every breath's release. So may you gleam and may you shine, and find your place beyond time. May you know that sweet line that is you and not you beyond time. I think that's the invitation, to know who we are beyond this sense of time, that eternal essence that's changeless. That's the invitation. I found a few quotes that are fun to share. One is from a Swami whose name I can't pronounce. Nisargadatta Maharaj. Anyone ever heard of him? Yeah, because I pronounced it so well. He's saying the same thing. Past and future are in the mind. I am now. The only place I am happens is now. I am now. So how do we stay awake in that leading edge? I wrote a song years ago, Wave After Wave. Again, I think it's like we're surfing this one wave, that she keeps breaking the water. We're that bow of the boat, to stay awake in that. I'm always riding that one wave. Henry David Thoreau said, the meeting of two eternities is precisely the present moment. There's this eternity to the past and to the future, but always it meets right here in this moment, this moving moment. My wife brought my awareness to a woman who started a project. What was her name? Or I've forgotten. Gretchen Rubin. She calls it the Happiness Project. She considers herself a happy person, but she wanted to be happier. How can I even be happier? And in her investigation, just looking at herself in life, one of the things she looked at was her likes and dislikes. And she felt like part of her willingness to be happy was her willingness to be honest about who she is and what she's about. And one of her little discoveries was she realized, I really don't like music that much. So who says that? That's, and especially to me, no. But there's almost a peer pressure where you have to like music, or you have to like pasta, or whatever. It's just like, well, no, I don't. And she said that deepened her sense of happiness when she just really got what does make her happy and what doesn't. Like, well, I don't want to watch baseball. I'm sorry, I just don't like whatever. And that's interesting. Just be truthful with ourselves. Well, what is real? What is real about what you like? As you stay awake to who you are, what's your certain take on life? So staying awake in the moment. So that's also about for the opportunities for connection with each other. Life is presenting us all these adventures. How awake are we for them? In the song I just sang, there's I love this line that came. Does your insisting mean that you are missing all the love that's waiting there? Are there ways that we're trying to define how life should be that's keeping all these adventures out, or all this love, all this connection? Does your insisting mean that you're missing all the love that's waiting there? When I grew up as a kid, my parents had this really cool thing they did. We in our little kitchen dining room area, they got a hold of a floor-to-ceiling map of the world. And so that was our wallpaper where we would have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And as a family, I was the eldest of 5 kids. And sometimes we'd play this game where our parents would say, who can find Lisbon first? Or who can find Perth, Australia first? And so we'd be looking. And so I got to know the layout of the world at a very young age. And I had this fun experience that happened the first time I flew to Japan, which is related to that. So I get on the plane in San Francisco, first time ever flying to Japan, and they had me in, and they seated me. It was in coach, but it was a 747, that big hump toward the front of the plane that's like the second floor. I was seated there on the right, and all the shades were down because people were trying to sleep on this very long flight. And we were about 2.5 hours out, and I remember thinking, I wonder if we're going over the Aleutian Islands by now. That might be about the right time. And so I kind of went, voot, and there they were. And I went, voot, because everyone wanted to be dark. It was like, oh my God, the Aleutian Islands. And this chain just stretching out into infinity. It's like, oh my God, I'm really seeing it, just like on that map I grew up with. And the Japanese flight attendant, she came up and said, would you like to see that from the cockpit? And I thought, well, we don't do that. But yes, okay. Japan Airlines this was 1997, but still I don't think we would have done that in 97. But so she unlocked the cockpit and knocked, said, hey, can we come in? They said, yeah, come on in. There's 2 pilots, and have a seat. And so it was it was very large actually on the 747, pilot, and then there's 3rd seat behind them in the middle with a sheepskin on it like fleece. And said, have a seat. Great, thank you. And they pulled up the visor so I could see the Aleutians in both directions, and we started chatting. They said, is it your first time to Japan? Yes, it is. And business or pleasure? I said, well, a little bit of both. I'm doing some concerts and workshops, but I also just want to see the place. And oh, great. And they said, well, what kind of music do you do? And I said, well, it's kind of, I never know how to describe it. And so, well, actually my guitar is just outside in the closet. Would you like to hear a song? Sure, bring it in. So I'm sitting on this sheepskin with my guitar, and I had just written this song, so it was kind of in my mind. I didn't even think about what it was saying, but it starts, and I start playing it, and it starts out, sometimes I feel like a bird flying over the ocean. It's like, I mean, I'm describing their life. They're always flying. It's like, and they loved it. And the younger of the two pilots, after I was done, he turned around. He was just mesmerized, and he said, "Wow, I love that song." And by now, I'm thinking, I hope this thing's on automatic pilot. And he said, "I would love for my wife to hear that. Are you doing any concerts in Tokyo?" And I said yes, and I got him the information, and they attended the concert. And then I got to tell that whole story at the concert with a translator and the punchline, and there on the back row is my Japan Airlines pilot, and the whole room went, ooh. So that was fun. So just staying awake to the possibilities. I could have said no, or I could have said, well, thank you, but just keep opening doors to what can happen in the moment. As we're awake, these possibilities show up to play and connect and just be aware. Be awake. I have so much more I want to say, but am I out of time? I don't even know where I am. When do you usually stop? I'm out of time. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. There's so many great stories you'll never hear. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Well, we're going to do a second service at 1 o'clock. No. Well, there was a quote. Roger asked me if I had a quote. I don't know is that part of the service after this, or did that just not happen? That's coming later. Yeah, I want to speak just a second to one. He said an affirmation and a scripture quote, and he said it can be Course in Miracles. So I picked a Course quote, and I want to tie this together with this. This is from the text, and it's a simple one-liner. A sense of separation from God is the only lack you really need correct. A sense of separation from God is the only lack you really need correct. And where does that separation happen? It happens when we're not present to this moment. Where does God exist? We can only find God in the moment, in this awareness, in this present moment. We can't find it in our mind, wandering off or thinking about our past. It's here. That's where we meet. So the invitation to be present in the moment is also the invitation to be connected to God. I am only exists here. I'm going to read it again. A sense of separation from God is the only lack you really need correct. So the more we can come to the present, that's where we can be in that connection, in that abundance of connection to the God I am. I am connected to the God I am. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to wake up phone, whatever. Okay. So we have it. Oh, this affirmation? Yes, and I didn't memorize it, but let's do it again. Can we read it together? Do you have your affirmations handy? Okay. I do it and then they repeat? Okay. I stay awake to the peace and stillness available each moment of my life. Available each moment of my life. We'll do it one more time. I stay awake to the peace and stillness available each moment of my life. Sounds like a meditation I did recently. Peace and stillness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Offering blessing.
Okay, so we'll do our offertory statement right now then. So I invite you to just know that we are prosperous. You are prosperous, I am prosperous, and as a collective, we are prosperous. Can we say that? We are prosperous. So let us come into this present moment and also affirm our offertory statement. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, and so it is. Amen. And would our ushers please come?
So that echoing thing worked so well earlier, I want to do it again. So on this chorus, this is called Letting It Go. So I'll sing like, letting it go, letting it go, letting it fly. So that'll be on the chorus, and then I'll do verses. You can just listen. So here we go. Letting it go, letting it fly. How can you know if you'll laugh or cry? You jump in the river of life. So now you're a swimmer. It's in your eyes. With your arms open wide, you are shining inside. And you look with the eyes of your soul. It's a choice that you make with each breath that you take. And it's all for the sake of your soul. When you were younger, your head in the clouds, did you ever wonder how things would play out? You know, and now that you're older, perfect, and so much you've done, does it ever feel like you've just begun? With your arms open wide, you are shining inside, and you look with the eyes of your soul. It's a choice that you make with each breath that you take, and it's all for the sake of your soul. Letting it go, letting it fly. And there it is, it flew. Thank you. Can I make an announcement? If I could just take a moment. Well, first of all, thank you for that standing ovation. So I've been busy since the last time I was here. So Tell Me Stories just came out like 3 months ago. I also came out with another CD a year after I saw you called Letting It Fly. Guess where that song is? Riding on the Train. This is, if you got grandkids in your life, you're going to love this. And I got super discounts on those, and also even more if you want to take me home on a thumb drive. If you've gone digital, ask me about this. One more thing. Would you like to go to Italy with me in October? It's going to be me and a small little cozy group, me and my guitar and you. If there's something you think you might want to do, I'm finding crazy cheap prices on airfares right now. So let's talk. I'd love to get you to be a part of this in October. Thanks for letting me do an infomercial, and I will now step down. Yeah.
a reminder, I saw a couple people. There's only 2 people signed up for the annual small business fair. I'm looking at a whole bunch of massage therapists, singing coach, drumming coach, whatever your talent is, your service, it's your time to showcase it for the ministry. So with that, let us say our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. All is well. Amen. Have a great weekend, everyone.